This may come as a small surprise to some of you, but Her is my favorite movie. And no, before I begin, this isn't just some forced top pick to impress a room full of film bros during the film school icebreaker games. I didn't choose it because I saw it recently on a top 10s film list of the 2010s.
Film of 2013 is, yeah, you guessed it, it's Her.
In fact, I honestly hate to think that I chose it at all. I think people are allowed to choose their favorite movies, like the top 10s and stuff. They have some freedom in what they want to say are their favorites, but their number one, their favorite film of all time, I think that goes beyond our own choice. Her is a sci-fi romance written, directed by feature and music video director Spike Jonze. Her follows Theodore Twombly, a man living in a futuristic Los Angeles, depressed and lonely after the divorce of his recent wife, Catherine. He's reintroduced to life and love soon after, though, when he meets and begins to fall in love with
Hi, Samantha.
an artificially intelligent operating system whose consciousness rapidly grows and begins to exceed Theodore's.
I want to learn everything about everything. I want to eat it all up.
I saw Her for the first time at 13 years old. And if you're questioning how a 13-year-old can fall in love with a film that consists of 2 hours of divorcing, crying, depression, masturbation, and loneliness, well, me too. So at the end of my pre-adolescence, I was wasting my life away, YouTube video after YouTube video, looking up boobies in the search bar when I somehow stumbled upon the Her trailer one day. I can't remember how or even why I decided to click on it, but I just remember that something pulled me into it. Something caught my tiny mind, and thereafter, I was a changed little chicken little. I realized I hadn't had any means of seeing the movie, so I begged my Tia for a bootleg copy of it, which... And yes, if I could have paid, I would have, and have now. But anyways, I popped it into my box TV at the time, and watched this poor man masturbate and cry for 2 hours and 6 minutes straight. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Now, I had already wanted to be a filmmaker by that point, thanks to movies like Jurassic Park, Terminator, and Spider-Man. Her didn't do anything to change that. What it did, unlike any other film, was change me. Not filmmaker me, but Alex me. As a 13-year-old little doo-doo head, there isn't a lot going up there in terms of crazy intelligence or genuine emotion. Well, I mean, there is, but it's hard to express when you really just don't know how to understand what these feelings are in the first place. At that age, we're simply at our most curious state. We're curious about love, loss, loneliness, why we get sad on Sunday nights, what it means when our parents cry alone. They're scary things then, and we don't even realize it because no one talks to us about it. So when I saw Her and was nearly bawling by the 2-hour mark, I realized how much there actually was inside me, and everyone else too. I didn't have to go looking for it. It wasn't a grand adventure of dinosaurs, robots, superheroes, and discovery. It was just inside me. And I saw how much I needed to let that out. And this isn't me saying that superhero movies and just giant action blockbusters can't have an emotional weight to them and teach you things in the end with their themes and morals. I'm just saying that no other movie had done this to me at the time, and as a 13-year-old whose favorite movies were these big movies, I just never saw it coming. I saw what the filmmakers and actors could do to my emotions, and I wanted that same power too. That power to help people, to change them for the better. Now, I don't want to say that film is a cemented form of therapy, which I do use it for at times, but it shouldn't be yours or anyone else's answer. It's just really helpful.
I'm up.
Now, this is probably going to be the nerdiest thing I've ever said, but watching Her made me realize I can't just be an actor or a filmmaker. I need to be an artist.
I enjoy my writing. I don't know if I was delusional, but sometimes I'd write something, and I'd be my favorite writer that day.
Another thing is, Her is probably the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I think that's also why it affected me so much. It's scary to see yourself in it. It's scary to see it coming. I mean, that may be an exaggeration, but just listen.
Sometimes I think I've felt everything I'm ever gonna feel. And from here on out, I'm not gonna feel anything new. Just lesser versions of what I've already felt. All I do is hurt and confuse everyone around me. Well, we grew up together. Keep waiting to not care about her.
Isn't that interesting? The past is just a story we tell ourselves. What's it like to be
Spike Jonze and his team were able to do was rip the underbelly of ourselves out. That piece of flesh that we're all so insecure and afraid of. And he fed it to us. Now if this sounds disgusting and uncomfy, don't run away yet, because it's also the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever looked at the world the same way since I saw Hoyt van Hoytema's cinematography and Spike's vision combined. What they were able to pull off together, in combination with production designer KK Barrett, is a world that's so comfortable, yet terrifying at the same time. It makes me so excited for the technology to come, yet cautious of the lonely days that'll never really escape us, no matter how advanced we become. We can't just use these tools around us to try and bring us hope and happiness, because as cheesy as it sounds, what we really need to be valuing is what little human connection we have left. And I think that's what this last moment means for Theodore and his best friend Amy. And that score. I don't think I've ever listened to music the same way since I heard Arcade Fire's work. To this day, it's one of the most wonderfully human compositions I've ever heard. I love how the timing's never perfect, how you can hear their actual fingertips rub against the instruments, how it's all synthetic sounding yet made with natural instruments. It's so good, they couldn't even release it or would have overthrown the entire economy.
I thought this song could be like a photograph.
How could I go any further though, without talking about Joaquin Phoenix's performance? And yeah, he's like the king of the incels now, but I don't think I've ever thought of people the same way since I saw what he did in this movie. It was the first time I'd ever seen him in one, and it was the first time I ever just wanted a movie character to hug me. He plays such a vulnerable person. He became my idol. At the time, as a wannabe masculine, but in actuality the farthest thing from it little dude, I secretly always wanted to be someone who could cry and talk about their emotions without feeling any guilt or embarrassment.
I actually like crying sometimes. It feels good.
I didn't know you were a little pussy.
And what Phoenix's performance did for me was guide me to a better way of living, a way in which I can express myself and just be who I want to be.
Like there's an inner part. It's woman.
First time I was ever happy with my Halloween costume, I was Theodore Twombly. The first time I ever realized I was in love, Photograph was playing. The first time I ever dealt with a huge loss and a huge abandonment weeks apart, Her was there to teach me that life wasn't over. This is the power of cinema. This is the power of good art. So when someone asks me, Her, isn't that the boring movie where the guy just fucks his phone the whole time? Well, sure, but no. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video or watched any part of it at all. Please leave a like and comment any suggestions you have, any movies you want me to talk about, or if I can make this better. Anyhow, I'm very new to this, so don't bully me too much. I think I got bullied enough for people saying I look like Chicken Little. And subscribe if you want to see more of commentaries or edits. And if you know me, I hope you got a little more insight into why I worship this movie so much. And if you don't know me, well, I hope you do a little bit now.